What is up, YouTube? Good morning. It is a glorious day today. I am actually up and at it early. Already been to the gym. Got my cardio in, fasted of course. The reason why I'm switching things up is because I'm 8 days out from my beach vacation now. This last weekend was the Arnold Classic, and if you've been following me, you know that my diet wasn't the best. It should have been a little better, but hey, it's the Arnold. The Arnold is over now. That excuse is out the window. So I really have to dial in my diet these next 8 days. So what I'm getting ready to do, I need to go fully stock up on all my groceries that I'm going to eat for the next week in hopes that I can drop some of this extra weight I picked up over the weekend and come into vacation really dialed in, looking the way I want to look, at least for that first day on the beach before all the other bad stuff sets in, because you know it is vacation and I plan on enjoying myself. What I'm going to do is take this camera with me, show you guys exactly what I buy. I might be buying stuff you've seen me buy in other shopping videos, but for the most part this trip will be low carb, high protein, and really just a standard overall cutting diet grocery trip. I think you guys will enjoy this. If you guys are ready to see exactly what I buy to get lean, then I'm ready to show you. Let's do it! All right, big cart or little cart? I think we're gonna go big cart. Alright guys, and the first thing we're going to get on our list here, we have our sour cherry peeps. These things are very high in protein, very low in carbs. They're going to be really beneficial for this diet and getting me shredded and ready for the beach. I'm kidding guys, I always have to throw at least one joke in the videos. Don't buy these. Jokes. Alright guys, I'm in the protein bar aisle now. I know that I talked about the other day being careful with what kind of bars you buy, so let me just give you an example. Let's grab a Luna bar, right? You might think that this thing is extremely healthy because, you know, it's in the protein bar aisle, but let's turn this thing around and look at the macros. So if we look here in this whole bar, there's 8 grams of fat. We have 24 grams of carbs, only 3 grams of fiber, and 7 grams of sugar with only 9 grams of protein. So realistically, this thing is maybe a little better than a candy bar, but you're not really getting any protein out of this. So you really want to look at these labels before you just start buying these bars thinking that they're helping you lose weight. For instance, if I'm here, right, and I want a protein bar, man, look in here, I don't think there's any bars here that are really legitimate protein bars, to tell you the truth. And then like you see these things, right, you're like, oh, 10 for $8, these gotta be good. So you grab one and you look at it, nutrition bar, right? Let's flip this around. And wow, 28 grams of carbs, 18 grams of sugar, and 15 grams of protein. So yeah, more protein, but really high in sugar. So I would not recommend this one personally either. Be on the lookout for a lot of these different brands. A lot of them are just glorified candy bars, especially like your Cliffs and some of these other ones. So just be on the lookout for that, guys. If I find other protein bars that'll work, I will show you when I get to them. And it wouldn't be a grocery trip if I didn't stop by the almond butter aisle. Now, I would buy this, but if I have this in the house, this is just a disaster waiting to happen. I don't have very good self-control when it comes to almond butter, especially Justin's. $10.99 a jar, but oh boy, it is amazing. It is so good. You look at the serving size, right? There's only 190 calories per serving, 14 servings in this whole thing, but look at that. We have 16 grams of fat, 8 grams of carbs, 2 grams of fiber, only 3 grams of sugar, and 6 grams of protein. So a couple servings of this a day, maybe up to 3 will help you hit your fat intake, but it is so hard to stop there for me personally, just because this is so good, and especially when you're dieting really hard, almond butter or peanut butter even, all the salt and the fat, your body just craves it. So I usually skip these, and if I'm gonna do it, I'll buy these little packets, but even these can be scary. If I buy a few of these and I'm like, I'm only gonna have one a day, it can turn into 3 real quick. So I'm gonna avoid these today, but just so you know, if you have the self-control, you can go ahead and get these, or if you want a cheaper brand here, I'm a huge fan of this Barney butter, but it doesn't have quite the same taste as the Justin's, but it's still almond butter, and it's still really good. In my opinion, I like to go with the crunchy. And if you want some little snack packs too, these are amazing. I think I had these in a snack video I just made not too long ago, but these are really good. And then you also have too, your powdered peanut butter takes a lot of that fat out of the equation. So you can look here, only 1.5 grams of fat, 4 grams of carbs, 2 grams of fiber, 6 grams of protein. So you get your protein, still the fiber, but none of the fat. So this is a good option if you're craving that flavor, but you don't necessarily want to worry about going too crazy. So keep that in mind. You can mix this with oatmeal, some protein powder in a bowl, add some blueberries, whatever, boom, good to go. But today we're gonna skip all this because I need to be good. All right guys, we've made it to the almond milk aisle now. Typically here when I'm buying almond milk, you want to look, you see how this has 90 calories a serving. A lot of this stuff, I speak on this a lot, but a lot of your almond milks, people think they're healthy just because it's almond milk, but there's a lot of added sugar and calories you don't need. If you're gonna buy almond milk, I personally go with vanilla unsweetened silk almond milk, and this is really good. Mainly what I'll use this for is to mix it with my protein powder for a shake, and it really gives it a lot nicer of a flavor. So just a little heads up, some people really hate mixing their protein powders with water. If you're gonna mix it with anything, do unsweetened almond milk. We can look at the macros here, only 2.5 grams of fat per serving, less than 1 gram of carb and 1 gram of protein. So this fits my low carb goal that I really have for this week leading up to vacation. Still tastes really good and makes protein shakes almost a delicacy. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick up some of this. Here we go guys, rolling up on the fresh spinach. Now I love it at Kroger because they have a deal, 3 for $5 on bags of fresh spinach. So spinach is awesome. Usually I'll use it to make like spinach salads with, especially if I'm going low carb. Spinach salads, mix this up with my eggs in the morning for my omelets. Really micronutrient dense, high in protein, high in fiber. Really good veggie here, guys. It's really essential if you're dieting to add volume foods to your diet, simply to keep you more full. And the more fiber you have and the more volume you put in there in the form of vegetables, it's gonna help you stay fuller longer and really help to make sure while you're cutting you're remaining as healthy as possible with all the vitamins and minerals you need in your diet. So recommend spinach for sure. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up 3 bags of this. Okay, and I'm also gonna grab here some white mushrooms. These are also micronutrient dense and really good, throwing them in mainly with my omelets or my egg whites or whatever, just to add some extra fiber in there and add a little more volume. So I don't usually do these all the time, but I think it adds a nice little change up. So I'm gonna get one of these, only $1.79. Boom, cannot beat that. And just to give you guys a little bit of a pro tip, you see here how there's Brussels sprouts in a big bag, right? I do steam bag frozen ones all the time. Some people aren't a huge fan of that, so props to Sarah for turning me on to these. She said you can buy this bag here, you can bake them, add a little bit of olive oil, and they taste way better than the frozen bag. So just a little heads up if you guys are looking for a different option for your Brussels sprouts. They also too offer this, fresh bags, and a bunch of other stuff. So you don't have to do exactly what I do, but I'll show you what I do here in a second. Here we go, guys. I'm in the frozen food section. Now, I already have some of this at home, so I'm not gonna buy it now, but Pacific white cod, even if you're not a huge fish fan, this is probably the least fishy tasting fish, if that makes sense. Out of all the ones I've had, sometimes tilapia gets a little fishy in my opinion, but I think cod tastes much cleaner and much less like you're eating an underwater animal. So cod is really good and can be interchanged with chicken breast, gram for nutrition, just about. So recommend this. I'm not getting any today, but this is the fish I prefer. All right, guys, I know I talk about this in almost all my cooking videos, but I'm currently out of coconut oil, so I'll give you guys a rundown on what to look for when buying coconut oil now. Like, look here, this says refined medium heat, you got unrefined medium heat, and there's a lot of different options here. You don't really know which one to get. If you want the most unadulterated or tampered with coconut oil you can get, it needs to be unrefined and cold pressed. Let's see if I can find it. So yeah, unrefined and cold pressed. This is what we want, only $7.99 for this jar. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab this. Now, you will know it's a legitimate coconut oil if when you taste it, it has a very distinct taste. If you buy really cheap coconut oil, so for instance, I've had this brand and I've had some of these brands, right? Or like the Crisco brand, how they're refined, like they're cheaper, yes, but they have no taste, and a lot of the nutritional value, the MCTs and stuff that make coconut oil so valuable for your mental health, brain health, and all that have been removed. So just be careful. Oh, and that brand too. Not good brands. Can't recommend these. Make sure, like I said, if you can get an organic brand that is unrefined and cold pressed, that is the way to go with coconut oil, guys. So if you tried it before and you didn't like it, try this again, because I think it's amazing with the way it tastes and just kind of how it makes you feel. So recommend this every day over like olive oil or something like that. So I'm gonna grab some of this. And also too, if you are cooking with too much oil, that can be adding a lot of unnecessary calories. So in my opinion, if you're gonna cook stuff on the stove, get yourself some cooking spray. I already have a ton at home, but I'm just trying to throw little tips in here for you guys. Get yourself some cooking spray, that way you're not adding too many unnecessary calories. I usually go for the cheap brand, $1.79, butter flavored cooking spray. Can't really beat it. And if you can, well, I recommend doing it no matter what, actually. Even if you can't, you should be able to. But avoid vegetable oils at all costs. Super inflammatory, can cause a ton of issues with your metabolism. Just avoid these at all costs. If you're gonna cook, make sure it's extra virgin olive oil or extra virgin coconut oil. Trust me. Trust me. You'll thank me later. All right, guys, I had to move away from the meat coolers because they're so loud, and in previous videos, it has really drowned out my audio quality, but I'll go over proteins I'm buying here as far as the red meat goes. So, beef chuck flat iron steak here, $7.99 a pound. It's on sale, getting it for $6.22. Mainly when I incorporate steak in my diet, personally, I like to use it in the morning because you get your fat content right in the morning, keeping carbs minimal, really giving you sustained energy throughout the day. Look at the macros here for this. Per 4 ounces or 112 grams, 13 grams of fat and 21 grams of protein. So getting those fats in there, as well as some protein, really starting my day off right. So huge fan of this. And then in place of that, what I'll do is I can also do some ground sirloin. I like to do 90% lean simply because if you do the full fat version, it's just so much fat and it's not really the best for you. 90% cuts down on that a little bit. And then we have, similar to the flank steak, 11 grams of fat per serving, 23 grams of protein. So this is also great for breakfast as well, but sometimes if my breakfast is lacking, I can throw this in at a different meal too if I have the macros left over. So I'm gonna get some of this. Like I said, I'm only shopping kind of for 8 days because I'm leaving for vacation. I don't want to buy stuff that's gonna go bad in my fridge. So we're just kind of keeping it simple here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick these two up for my red meat options, and then I'm gonna go pick up some chicken, I believe, for some white meat. All right, guys, I'm gonna get close to this cooler and I'm gonna try to talk a little louder, that way my audio quality doesn't get drowned out. But let me just show you real quick. The best steak you can buy, in my opinion, is beef flank steak. Let me back up a little bit, simply because for red meat, look at the macros. Only 7 grams of fat per serving, 24 grams of protein. So it's got the highest protein and lowest fat out of a lot of the red meats that I've found. It's a little pricier, but this stuff is super tasty, super lean for a red meat. So if you can afford this, or you want to get your red meat fix without too much fat on your macros, flank steak is the way to go. But personally, I'm going to go with the stuff that's on sale today, but this is a great option, guys. Just letting you know it's available. Here we go, guys. We're in one of my favorite parts of the store here, the chicken breast container, storage area, whatever you would call this thing. Chicken breast, I love it. One of the leanest proteins you can buy after you trim it, only $1.99 a pound, super inexpensive. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and get one pack of it here. I don't need anything crazy, so what I'll look here is typically seeing how many pounds is on it, and I'll try to buy the biggest one I can, but today I don't really need that since I only need it for like a week. I also take a look to make sure like there's not too much fat hanging on it, because some of these can look real. Like this one here to me isn't really appealing because I see a lot of stuff, but then like one like this, I see that, but some of these look a little leaner. This one looks good. This one will work. Only 4 pounds here. I think this will be about perfect, and there's not a lot of extra baggage hanging off. As much protein as we can get here. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab this, and then boom, that's gonna cover my meats. I think I need one more thing. And here we are at the ground turkey aisle. Now, a lot of client meal plans I work, if they want simplicity, I always recommend 99% lean ground turkey. So let me grab this. I know I got this last time. Let me move away from the cooler. Look at the macros here, right? 1 gram of fat per serving, 26 grams of protein. And this whole thing, if you fry this whole thing up, which is usually what I do, I'll have one of these a day, 104 grams of protein, only 4 grams of fat, this entire container. As long as you season it right, I think it tastes really good, but be on the lookout. Just because it's ground turkey doesn't mean they're all created the same. So this one's 99% fat-free. If I go ahead and grab, let's even do like a 93, right? Look at the macros on this. 93 jumps us all the way up to 8 grams of fat per serving. So still decently lean, right? But if you're looking for a pure protein source, you have the extra macros to play with, I recommend 99% lean. It's a little pricier, but the convenience, throw it in a skillet, fry it up, you can't really beat it. So just be on the lookout when you're buying these to make sure you're buying the right one that's gonna fit your goals. If you do standard ground turkey, it's about the same as doing red meat. Stick with 99% lean, or worst case scenario, 93%. And a little tip for you guys, for those of you having trouble getting your water intake in, check out how much a gallon of water is at the store. 89 cents for a gallon of water. Now I have a purifier at my house, so I don't necessarily buy these. I do buy the jugs. I'll use a jug for 4 to 5 days, refill it. But if you don't have that option, literally stock up on these. If you're going to the grocery store once a week, you can buy yourself 4, 5, 6, whatever you need. Take them home with you and boom, fill your gallon up. There's some branched chain aminos in there and you are all set. Making sure you're hitting that gallon a day mark, keeping your metabolism running optimally, boom, good to go. That's one thing I see a lot of people slack on with their diets is not getting enough water in. Not getting enough water in, that slows your metabolism down. Doesn't mobilize so the food you're eating correctly. You hold water and in turn it slows your results. So make sure you're getting that water in. Okay guys, I am officially here at the frozen vegetable section. Look at all the options here. Me personally, if you know me well enough, if you watch my channel, you know how I like to do things with veggies. I like to get the frozen steam bags because they're easy, microwavable, they're not going bad. That's the only downside to buying produce is that it goes bad if you just put it in your fridge. So these stay in your freezer for a long time. Microwave, boom, sort them out, weigh them, do what you gotta do, fit your macros and all that. And I'm a huge fan of Brussels sprouts, like I said earlier, so I'm gonna get some bags of these. I'm also gonna do some Italian green beans, huge fan of these as well. And then a little more expensive, because these are easy to see, 10 for 10. I think Brussels sprouts are only $1.50, but we can come down here. And then we also have, those are asparagus spears right there, but you can see for one bag, it's $4.49, and then $4.49 for broccoli as well. So I'll kind of do these every now and again. Probably the most nutritious and healthiest of your vegetables, but I'm trying to save money at the same time. So I might get 1 or 2 of these, but usually I'll stick to the other ones just because to me personally, like I said, I like to have that extra money in the bank. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab some of these, throw them in the cart and move along. Okay guys, I'm also gonna grab a thing of cottage cheese. Now when you're buying cottage cheese, you wanna make sure you're buying, at least in my opinion, if you want the best balance between flavor and macros, the 2% low-fat cottage cheese. Let's take a look at these macros here. So per serving, 117 grams to only 2.5 grams of fat, 5 grams of carbs, but 10 grams of protein. So not super high in carbs as long as you are measuring out and weighing it. Give you some protein, and to me personally, I love cottage cheese, especially if you throw a scoop of protein in there, maybe a little cinnamon, mix it up, boom, got yourself a nice little dessert. So this is a really good brand, in my opinion, for flavor, macros, and all that. So I'm gonna pick up a little bit of this as well. And one of the final things I'm gonna pick up here, I'm gonna go ahead and do some large eggs. Ooh, they're on sale. Actually, only $2.39. Look at that, it's a nice little discount. So I'll grab 2 of these. Usually I'll grab like 6 of these at a time, but what happens is, since I'm going on vacation, I only want 2 because I don't want these to go bad. So we're gonna get 2 of these, high in healthy fats. I usually do about 6 eggs every morning for breakfast. So get some eggs mixed in with some steak for breakfast. That's a really good meal. Gets you a lot of your fat content in for the day. Good to go. Do that. And then I'm also a huge fan, oh, and these are on sale too. Nice liquid egg whites in these containers here. So I usually stock up on these, 50 grams of protein per, and it makes a real quick, easy meal. Just preheat your skillet, throw it in there, add your spinach for your omelet, do what you gotta do. You can even drink this, by the way. Shout out to Nate, the Dream Whitlatch. He says, I haven't done it yet, I might try it soon. You can put a little bit of Mio or water enhancer in one of these and just drink it. it. I've drank them before without no flavor. Not the best thing in the world, but it gets the job done. You could add Mio to it. According to Nate, you can't even tell. He drinks his in the morning, puts like a coffee flavored Mio in there. Boom, 2 birds, right? So I'm gonna stock up on these, and then I think that's probably it. So I'll check in here in a second. So I believe this is gonna wrap up the grocery trip, guys. So as you already seen, we got our proteins here we're gonna need for the diet, the eggs, egg whites, ground turkey, we got our spinach, we got all of our veggies, coconut oil, and that's really all I need, guys. If this is all I have in my house, it's gonna make dieting and staying on point so much easier if I don't have, like I said, the peanut butter or the other stuff to kind of go for that can throw me off my diet. So the main goal with this, like I said, we kept it low carb. As you see, we don't have any carbohydrate sources in here, so I didn't get any sweet potatoes, any rice, anything like that. Mainly sticking to my proteins and my fats because I need to come in 8 days as lean as I can for vacation. That way I don't look like a clown on the beach. So like I said, I just want to bring the camera with me and show you guys what I was getting. So I'm gonna go ahead and check out. I'll show you guys the receipt and everything back at the house, and then I will see you guys off. Guys, you almost let me leave without getting toothpaste. I've been at the bottom of my toothpaste container for like the last week where you're like rolling it up and squeezing it. I just about ran out. So I went ahead and picked this up. I wanted to share this with you guys. I get a lot of comments. People talk about my smile. They're like, you have really white teeth. How do you do it? I don't spare any expense when it comes to my toothpaste. Crest 3D white every time, no matter what. Brush my teeth with this every day. Look at that. Whiten, strengthens, and protects. These guys need to pay me. But for real, guys, this is the toothpaste I buy. For those of you that care or you want to know, this is what I'm buying. That's what I'm brushing my teeth with, and helps me keep these pearly whites extra pearly. I would sit this on the chicken, but that's probably gross. We'll throw her in there. Okay, guys, just got back from the store, and I got my receipt right here. Now, I have this camera set up for manual focus, so I don't think it'll focus on it if I hold it up, but this in total cost me $80.47. So that might seem expensive to you, but you have to think about it in terms of how long that food's gonna last you, right? I know that when I eat out, I usually spend maybe $10, $15, $20 a day on food, whereas what I have in there will probably last me at least a week. So like I said, I shopped for about 8 days or so. You gotta weigh your options out. I know sometimes it's difficult going to the store and drop in a lot of money on food at one time, but if you utilize it, you actually eat it, prep it, and consume it, not only is it doing your body good, you're actually saving money too. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more videos like this where I take the camera with me and show you what I buy, comment below right now. If you enjoyed this video, also hit that like button, because honestly, lately, guys, that is how I determine what content I create, is if you hit the like button and I see the like to dislike ratio, and if it gets enough love, it makes me produce more content like this. So this is officially my 101st video in a row, and I don't know when I plan on ending this streak. I don't think I'm gonna end it. Maybe not up until vacation. I don't know. We'll see. We're gonna play this by ear. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, I appreciate the continuous support from each and every one of you. And if there's anything you think I should add to my diet, comment below. Let me know, because I'm always looking for new things to try. So with that, I am out of here, guys. Thank you so much, as always, for your continuous support, and the love on yesterday's video was insane. Thank you guys, as always, for everything. I owe all of this to you guys. With that, I'm out of here. As always, don't forget to smile, remain positive, and pay someone a compliment, because you never know whose day you could be making better. This has been a Remington James production, and I will see you guys at the next video. See you guys.